edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Some rough NBA. I know we'll get into it, but man, it's been tough to watch.
Dude, every game's a blowout. I thought Miracle Man, I was rooting for a miracle to happen with Luka Doncic, but regression to the mean, man. Regression, I'm not even surprised, man. I'm not even surprised. A team that beat the Suns, I still don't know how they beat the Suns. That team awful, man. Like, you got the Reggie Bullocks of the world.
Oh, man.
And the Jordan Finney-Smiths of the world with the Maxi Kleber. Don't know how this team's in the conference finals, but they somehow beat a great team, and now they're getting exposed for being an awful, awful team, man. Just a one-man show. You're dropping 40 a game, man. You're dropping 40-point games like it's nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of think we could start there with Dallas and Phoenix. Dallas' best chance at trying to make this a series was that game 2 where they had the huge lead. Once they surrendered that, that's all she wrote. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people were behind, including myself, was just behind that Luka's going to get to the finals bandwagon. Like, I don't think Phoenix was overrated. They were the number 1 seed for a reason, and he went into their building and beat them. So, and it wasn't just he beat them; it was a beat down. So, of course, a lot of people put emphasis on the Dallas Mavericks and thought they were going to give Golden State a series. But I just think this is a telltale sign of the Warriors just have championship DNA, and they can play possum and they can do that, and they're going to be able to rise and do what they do it when it needs to be called upon. So, for Dallas and I guess you could say Golden State, it's just a wrap. So, yeah. I mean, people, if you got anything to add to that.
I was going to say, man, that we talked about how they had no chance if their other guys weren't playing well. Yeah. Reggie Bullock having an 0 for 10 performance.
Come on, man.
I mean, hell, man, they lose by 9 that game. If he makes even 3 or 4 of those shots in general, I think like 9 of them were from 3, 8 of them maybe. They're in that game. I mean, they were. You could say they were in that game, but not really. But man, Jalen Brunson, I think, is really the only guy who's been adding a little bit. I think he's putting up 22 in the series on like 44%. Luka's putting up the numbers, man, but he's shooting 41% from the field. If he's not on, they're not even taking a game here. They might win tonight and steal one, just maybe a little gentleman sweep action like the Bulls had against the Bucks earlier this playoffs. But I think that's all she wrote, man.
Yeah, man, the one-man show can only do so much, man.
Especially
on an offense that's completely team. It's a team offense. You have everyone, like, you got Kevon Looney out there just beasting on people
21
right now.
points. What the hell?
Dude, Kevon Looney, man. Don't know where that guy showed up, but he is taking advantage of the paint more than DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on, man. Yeah, because the way the Mavs play, like, Maxi Kleber plays the 5 something, because they got Dwight Powell, who's like the worst player I ever seen in my entire life, man. This guy got 0 skills, man. This guy, he can missing lab. The only thing that you get is that Luka lob to him for the easy dunk. That's the only basket he could score. Bad, man. Even bricks free throws. Like, that dude's awful. And then you got Kleber off the bench as your backup center. Like, this team cannot rebound against this Golden State Warriors team. And this Warriors team ain't even that big. Like, their only true big is Kevon Looney. Like, he's their only true, like, Draymond's 6'6", like, Wiggins 6'7". Like, all their guys are miniature guys. Jordan Poole, Steph Curry. And these guys, like, Steph Curry getting, like, 10 rebounds right now, man. Yeah. Steph Curry is rebounding like a big
when you're
right
shooting
now.
Like 43s a game, you're bound to get a bunch of long offensive rebounds if you're shooting 20%.
That is true, man. The way the Mavs play, man, it reminds me so much of the Houston Rockets. The way they play, man, they got 2 primary guys that could get it done in Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic. Luka in the Harden role and what's called Brunson in the CP3 role. And all they do is, like, they take turns. Like, Brunson's actually surprisingly effective. His, like, post game, like, getting to the paint, the little jump shot that he likes getting off. The way they play is get the double team, chuck it to these role players that hope, and you just got to pray they hit their open threes, man. You got to pray, man, because these guys are just really, they're the definition of role players, man. They can't do anything else. Because you see Finney-Smith try to dribble the basketball. It's a tragedy, man. Thomas Bertans, man. When that guy dunks the ball, even Klay Thompson was like, what? You can do that? Like, I swear to God, like, none of the guys in the Mavs could dribble the basketball outside of their 2 main guys and Spencer Dinwiddie. But the rest of them guys just catch and shoot guys, and they're not even that great of shooters. They're all wide open looks, like terrific looks. Like, Luka creates a lot of open threes. And, like,
Just got to knock him down.
Yeah, Luka sometimes like, yo, man, I keep passing to these guys, keep bricking threes. That's why I got to jack up like 20-plus shots.
Yeah.
I got to do my step-back threes because, my Lord, my step-back three's been falling. Luka's shooting 40% from three this series.
Yeah, and 41% from the field. That's the thing. It's just the volume. I think the volume of shots he's had to take because nobody else is really helping him. I mean, they're good, but yeah, I mean,
77. And he's shooting 77% from the free throw line, which is a little better than his average. So
yeah, and he was, he had a sickness or an illness going on there too. I mean, I hope they add some pieces, and I think we'll talk about that more in the offseason of teams that need to make moves. I do think the Mavs need some height, need some rebounding. But I just got to give a quick shout out. Steph Curry's finally had a good series. He's shooting nearly 50%, putting up 28, 29 a game. And like Zeus said, man, he's crashing the boards and he's carrying his team quietly as he always does, man. Mr. Calm.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson has not showed up.
No. Wait, they're not getting to game 6, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in the finals,
we might need Klay Thompson. Yeah, I'm about to say finals might be where Klay Thompson may have to at least show 1 or 2 games that he's still got a flamethrower for jump shot. But yeah, it's been kind of a rough go for Klay. I mean, we kind of all expected this because of his injuries, but yeah, it's been eye-opening how
he's been quiet,
hasn't been in the rotation.
16 points a game. 16 points a game this series, man. 16 points a game. Yeah. Just like
they don't need it though. At this point, you're up 3-0. You might as well just take it easy at this point.
Man. Yeah. And Andrew Wiggins though. Andrew Wiggins as
some big moments in this series.
Yeah, as a third option, I guess, on this team, man. He's been getting it done at both sides of the court right now, man. Both sides.
Big factor on Luka.
Yeah, he's been because he's been playing full court press.
Yeah,
like trying to tire out Luka. Exactly, got to tire him out, man. Luka's his primary ball handler, so you got to make him work. Even though I don't know, some of the step back threes that Luka hits on him are still insane, but he's making him work. And that posterization, man. That was one of the nastiest things I ever seen, man. He murdered
showed why
Luka.
He was the number 1 pick.
He murdered Luka there, man. That was crazy. The refs called a foul. I was like, man, what are they smoking, man?
Yeah,
they feel bad for Luka on that
Good thing they got that challenge, man. That's same.
Yeah.
Because that ref, I don't know if you guys saw this, but that ref just ran out. I was like, chop, offensive foul. I was like, what is that guy smoking, man?
Yeah.
God.
Real quick. What is DeAndre Ayton? He's restricted or unrestricted? I don't know. You guys may not know, but
he's a restricted free agent.
Probably.
So Phoenix can match. I don't know. That could be interesting for Dallas. I don't know how they would be able to get that done.
They seem to be butting heads a little bit, but I think Ayton to the Mavs
that would be
not a bad move. Not a bad move.
But we can talk about that, like I say, in the offseason. But switching to the next series, we were kind of talking about this before the pod. Good luck predicting Boston and Miami. The only thing I could say for sure, I just feel like this series is going 7, just because the last series went 7, and it's kind of it feels that way because it's too heckle and jive for both from game to game. I just feel like in the next game, Boston is going to lay an egg. Miami's going to come out and it's going to be overreaction. Then Boston's going to go home, get a huge lead, and then it's just going to come down to who wants game 7 the most. And
in
at
Boston,
this point,
in Miami.
Yeah, in Miami. So logic would tell you if you've been, like you say, last game for me was tough to watch, but if you watched a lot of these games, Boston seems like the better team, but it's weird. It feels like it shouldn't be this way because a lot of the core guys that are on this team were in that conference finals with LeBron that went to game 7. So you think they would be more mature, but it just feels like they have these young team lapses where it's like, okay, now we can relax. It's like, no, you're the better team. Yeah. Like, get over, like beat Miami, because Miami has shown, like, as much as we love Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hill's not giving you a lot. Bam is very hot and cold. Zoo's favorite player, Kyle Lowry, is just out there running around. Like, they're not a
$30 million. People are hating on DeMar DeRozan, and this dude gets signed, and he's like 4 years older. Dude's almost 37 years old, man.
Like, I don't even know what
he's
putting
up 11. Yeah. Putting up 11 a game on under 35% shooting in this series.
Under 35.
Like, I guess you can, like, I don't know, veteran presence, but Victor Oladipo is giving you more defensively, and it's a bigger factor.
He's been a hound, man.
So it's, all signs point to Boston being a better team, but it's just good luck putting your faith in them and saying, yeah, Boston has got this, because they've shown too much, and they kind of started in the Bucks series. Like, they relax when they either get the series tied or when the pressure's on, that's when they come out shooting. And I think a lot of that has to do with Tatum. We all know he's ascending to a superstar, but he's still, to get to that to be considered a superstar, I feel like he needs to be more consistent. Like in this game 5, he needs to go and do what he did last night. Like he needs to go and do that consistently. I think if he starts to do that, then Boston will be well on his way. But
they need a Tatum and Brown good game at the
both,
same time.
yeah,
man.
that
they
too.
need
that.
Similar to the
factor.
Celtics and Heat trading off. Brown and Tatum just trade off game to game.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart being in and out of the lineup, Robert Williams being in and out of the lineup, the inconsistency of just their chemistry, their flow. I mean, Peyton Pritchard was pretty much the second best player in last night's game, coming off the bench. No hate to him. He's hit some big shots for them, but you can't have that when you have Al Horford on the floor. You know, obviously Marcus Smart was out, but you know, you got Jaylen Brown too. They just can't all seem to get it going and have it click, which makes me hesitant to pick them in this series, but let alone give them championship odds, because we know the Warriors can deal with that better than a younger team like the Celtics in that situation. But Zeus said this a couple times, man. Robert Williams' presence is huge for this series.
The true defensive player of the year. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying
quietly.
that. I'm going to say that because I don't know if you guys noticed. Bam Adebayo, man.
Yep.
This guy has a missing persons report every time Robert Williams plays. The guy, he sits out with some knee soreness. Bam goes up, drops a 30-piece, man. Coincidence? I don't think so, man.
Win.
Oh, yeah.
That was a huge – if they didn't win that game, I mean, pulling with Jimmy going out, I thought that
went
was
out.
It was obviously the most entertaining game of the series.
Kyle Lowry with the huge steal at the end.
There you go, making his presence known. That's worth $30 million, man. If Drew Holiday can do it, so can he.
Jesus Christ.
No, but I mean, if you look at, once again, Heat are kind of they're a better version of the Mavs. That's kind of how I like to think about them. Bam's obviously better on the interior, but at the same time, I don't know in this playoffs with Bam.
Dude,
but you look at Gabe Vincent, Vincent, Oladipo, Hero, and Strus are all shooting under 38% in the series from the field, not from three, from the field.
Hero's been
particularly not surprising, man. This is a true defense.
Man,
this is a real defense.
But they need one guy of those four, and maybe somebody else, steps up. Duncan Robinson, maybe. They need one of those four guys to make a difference. But it's just neither team is playing consistently, and they're just kind of like, who's going to make the biggest mistake first?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised though, but because if you look at the roster, this Miami Heat roster, that these rotation guys, you got a bunch of G leaguers and like late round and undrafted dudes. Like you can't expect consistency. Like Max Strus sometimes looking like Klay Thompson out there, but last game he dropped the Tony Snell game 0-0-0-0, man. That's what he pulled off yesterday.
0-0.
Yeah, 0-0, man. Dude, the only thing on the box score is 3 personal fouls, man. That's all he did. He fouled and dropped a bunch of donuts. So if you look at his roster, like I was never sold on his Miami Heat roster. They took advantage of injured Philadelphia 76ers team, man. You got past that, which I thought was still pretty impressive when Embiid came back. But if you look at the roster, like Bam Adebayo, man, I'm this dude on offense, man. I got some vengeance on Bam Adebayo, man. I had a FanDuel Super Boost, man. 40 combined points for Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Jimmy got 29. He was balling. Bam got 6 points. How do you get 6 fucking points, man? 3 for 5. He only took 5 shots. The dude was completely non-existent. He did not get post touches. Like, this dude is the second best player on this team. And he got 5 shot attempts in a playoff game.
Unacceptable.
That just can't happen. He's making a max contract. He got rewarded with the max money. You can't just be you just can't be a defensive player. He's great at defense, but offensively shooting 5 shots, and your team was getting your butt whooped. Like you needed a guy to step up with Jimmy Butler, who was getting it done. And Bam didn't show. And then he gets dropped up to 30 piece. But like I said, Robert Williams, a true defensive player of the year, is on the Boston Celtics. He can play perimeter defense. The guy plays 20 minutes and gets 2 blocks a game. It's unreal. And all the shots that he's alters at the rim. Like this guy could play inside and out, which is pretty rare for a big man. Like pick and roll defense, inside, outside. This dude, like he just need to fix that knee, man. Because all this in and out, like when he's out of a lineup, you can feel that the presence of the Celtics defense not as good without him. Exactly. Like Rob Williams, that security blanket that could do it all in the defensive end and as a lob threat. So I'm just like, yo, Robert Williams, man, this guy, the Celtics got to get one because when he plays, man, he unites the defense because legit, they have 5 guys. They have 5 guys on that team that can play defense when they have their fully loaded lineup. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Rob Williams, Al Horford. You got five guys that get D up, and you only got one non-shooter in Rob Williams. So I'm just like, this defense.
You take that trade-off.
Exactly. And Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, man, they might have to. They struggle with turnovers.
Yes, they
Jaylen
do.
Brown
Jaylen Brown
Especially
is
Jaylen.
really bad at dribbling the basketball.
I don't know why. It's weird.
He dropped the ugliest 40-point game I've ever seen, man. This dude dribble. Like, he dribbles into crowds, loses the ball.
Just makes tough shots.
Yeah. He just has that nut. He just sees a guy in front of him, pull up three, money. Like, he hits some really tough shots, but his ball handling is awful. And Jason Tatum's passing. Like, I can't just say that Heat's defense is that good. 7 turnovers? He had 6 turnovers in 1 quarter, man. Like, what was he doing?
Both teams are trying to lose, man. That's
Dude,
what it seems
I'm just like one of them was
They're
just like,
just
just gave it to
inconsistent.
Miami, man. Like, the
know, it's just
turnovers, man.
This game 5 is obviously crucial. Most teams that win game 5 win it all. Obviously, we've seen some 3-2 comebacks this year, but this is big. And like you said, Sean, I don't think there's any way you can pick how this game's going to turn out. It's in Miami. Take that for what you will, but both teams have stolen a game off each other on the road. So
Boston Celtics, they're getting it done, man. They're getting it done. Jimmy Butler's injury. That's a big deal.
His knee,
his
inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you saw
Marcus Smart's questionable.
Marcus Smart. And I don't know. I'm not too worried.
Putting up 20 in the 2 games he played.
Yeah, offensively, he's been surprisingly effective because Derek White is not the option. That guy can't hit any jump shots at all. No jump shots at all.
Good defender, though.
He seemed like the moment's too big for Derek White a little bit.
Derek White just can't shoot.
Yeah,
he just
that's
can't
just
shoot.
rightfully so.
Can't shoot.
I don't think he
can't shoot at all.
He's on the bench or a rotational piece for a reason. But this is for me. I just feel like this is very important for Boston. Boston needs to win this game. And they need to win this series because they are the more talented team. And if they at least get to the finals, you can justify a lot of what, the series being, okay, this was a successful season. Because, like you say, we all know what Boston has been, but come on. Giannis didn't have Chris. Like, you swept KD and them. Their team was a mess. You're now, fiddling around with Miami. Go get it done. Go get it done. You're the more talented team. There's no excuses. Go get it done. Stop. You come out this game 5, they should come out and beat Miami down and then finish them off at home. If Boston doesn't win game 5, like you said, they could probably win in the 7 because they're the more talented team. But it's just stop playing around. You got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You got Rob Williams, who a lot of people think should be the defensive player of the year. Just go get it done. Miami is not like you say, they got undrafted G League guys starting in their rotation. Go get it done. They need to go get it done and stop playing around. Because I'm telling you, if they do not get to the finals this year, they're probably never getting back.
It's over.
They're never getting back. Because the East is only going to get better. And you can't, like you say, we can't talk about it.
They got a break, man. Chris Middleton,
huge breaks. Huge breaks,
break.
Man. They got to get there and get it done. Because, a lot of this with how the NBA is so much movement, unlike other leagues, how the season is this year, there's not going to be next year. Stars move, stuff happens, trades that we never thought would happen are going to, teams get better. The draft classes now, you even look at the rookies that come in, they come in ready to play. It ain't like they're just oh, they got to sit and get through. No, they're ready to go. So it's if they go to the right situations, certain teams, like Cleveland, who would have saw the Cleveland Cavaliers happening last year? And the only reason why they didn't get further in is because of injuries. If they weren't injured, they could have been a threat this year. So it's I'm just waiting for Boston to flip that switch and be we're the better team, win. That's what I'm waiting for. And it starts with Jason Tatum. He needs to come out and have another big game because he can do it. It's just he's just inconsistent, and I don't get it. And you know what? Do point about how Bam's been inconsistent. I wonder, and I swear I'm not trying to big up Kyle Lowry, but if Miami had a better point guard, Bam might be better.
I
think if they had a better point guard than Kyle Lowry, Bam might be better.
If
Chris Paul was with the Heat, and stayed healthy, Bam would probably be averaging 20 and 10, like how Ayton got better.
Well,
but Kyle Lowry,
that's why they put Gabe in.
It's not good,
right?
Yeah,
that's why they play Gabe more. But Gabe's not a pass first guy. He is a
pull. He loves chucking it, man.
Chucking the threes, man, and he's got a nice jumper. But he is not. They're not running their offense through Bam, and I think that's what they did when they had their success. They ran it through JB and they ran it through Bam, and it worked for them. Obviously not up against
they just had
LeBron, but
if they had Tyus Jones for Memphis, if he was running the point at freaking Miami, I think they would be a whole lot better team and Bam would be better. But like I said, we've
two
been
steps faster than Kyle.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting.
wow.
That's gonna be an interesting contract situation once they, they're gonna blame it on him being hurt, but we all kind of see the writing on the wall with Kyle. It's not there. It's just not there anymore.
He needs to see the writing on the wall, I think.
Yeah. But we can talk about that on another pod. But we're gonna kind of switch this last topic with the NBA draft. It's not coming up till the end of June ish type of area, but we're gonna profile a couple of players and see which of the teams that are in the lottery will be their best fits. And first guy we kind of want to start with is Chet. A lot of people have him going at least in the top 3. Some people have them going number 1. So I figured it'd be cool to see which teams in the lottery, like I just said, are the best fits. And Zoo, I'm gonna start with you.
I don't see the Orlando Magic taking this, man. I don't see him because this dude right now, man, he's got sneaky athleticism. He's a great defensive player, man. Little too skinny. Like he gives me that Kristaps vibe, man. He got the same exact body type, man. Little hunchback, skinny guy, dude. Loves checking up threes, man. And low key a good defender, man. So I feel like he could be he might be able to, if he gets in the right situation, be an immediate impact player defensively. Just be a rim protector and be in a pick and roll defender.
If he doesn't get bodied,
offensively, I don't think he's going to be that successful offensively. But defensively, I think defensively you can use him immediately in an NBA game right now because of his length. Yeah, because he's got good instincts. He's a good shot blocker. Yeah, he's a good shot blocker, man. Like he might look skinny, but he's sneaky strong, man. He got that skinny strength. That KD skinny strength, man. Might look like a stick, but he got a little muscle underneath there. So I feel like people say he got toughness. He's got toughness. He ain't a soft player, even though he's a skinny guy. So I feel like defensively, he can help a team out immediately as being a guy, and he can also be a stretch 5. So be a center that can help space the floor as well as playing defense. So I feel like he can help. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, Maxi Kleba is on a rotation NBA playoff game. Chet could absolutely do that.
He could step in there
for a lot of NBA teams. So I feel like right now, a lot of mock drafts have to go number 2 OKC, man. They need a center, man. Help out with their defense. 3-point shooting, man. He can be that nice defensive guy to anchor down them for their future, man. So
yeah.
I feel like he's a really, really interesting prospect.
You think OKC would trade up to number 1 to get him if they think Orlando's going to take him?
I don't think so.
I don't think Orlando's going to do it. I think
because Orlando, I don't know if you guys get the same number 1 pick as I do, but Jabbar looking pretty nice, man. But Chet to OKC looks pretty nice too, man. Help out their defense immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have. I know we'll probably have our own thing on Jabari and as to why he should go number 1. But I do have him going to the Magic. I just think the Magic want a more solidified big man, personally.
And they would have 2 centers, man. And they've been drafted. They got Wendell Carter Jr. You got Mo Bamba.
They're getting rid of Mo, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to get rid of Mo.
Mo's going to be gone.
Yeah.
He's been
and they can move Wendell, too. Wendell is not an ass piece to move. He's a solid investment.
He and Al Horford.
He's still pretty cheap.
Yeah,
exactly. He's got a decent jump shot. He just didn't like to use it on the Bulls, but that's besides the point. Chet, man, I look, he's 7 feet. He's skinny as fuck. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So I think that a lot of teams might be, worried about him. And Zoo, that's why I was a little surprised. I'm actually more confident in his ability to bring his offensive game over than his defensive game.
His post-up game?
Zoo, who did he play in college? Who did he play in college that he had to actually guard? I mean, he didn't really play the best big men in the league. It's not like he was playing against a Drew Timme. He was his teammate. Probably the best big man in the league.
It's about team defense, man.
Sure, that's
rotation.
But how much team defense is played in an NBA regular season for a team under 500, man? Not much.
It's a lot of freelancing.
It's a lot of especially with a team as young and gunning like the Thunder, which I agree. That's his best fit. I think Shea and Josh Giddey are solid. But I think the way they can use him the best is on his pick and pop ability, man. Imagine Shea and Chet running pick and roll. He obviously is a stretch 5. You pull him out to the 3. I mean, what do? You're going to get so many offensive rebounds because you're pulling their 5 out, right, from underneath the basket to guard Chet. I don't know. I think it could be a huge advantage to a team that has a lot of potential with future assets coming up and the assets that they have right now. So I don't know. I think he's going to be a solid player. I do think his shot blocking will be big, Zoo, but I'm just worried about he's not going to have a chance against a Jokic or an Embiid compared to some other.
That's-
Kevon Looney would
even
probably
fair.
play those guys better than Chet will. And I think that's where teams, if
Yeah.
you want to invest in a big man, which I think teams are starting to realize, you might need at least one really good big man on your team because you never know who you're going to have to play. I think that a team is going to look at a Jabari and say, hey, he's a more solidified guy, physically, post-up ability and all that, and say, I don't want to take the injury risk maybe with Chet too. So just with his size.
For me, I agree with you guys of where I think of the fit is OKC. I think I'm almost there with you. But I just look at Orlando and I'm thinking about their history and what they do. If you go back just on a lot of the drafts outside of Suggs, maybe, they have this enamoration with drafting project big men like
Length
Bamba,
athleticism.
Jonathan
Length, yeah.
Isaac, like Franz Wagner to a little bit, even though he came out really good. Like he's a
15
foundational
points.
piece for
15
them.
points.
Yeah, he's a
first year.
foundational piece for them.
They took the thing on Vooch back in the day too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
They
just kind of have this thing with drafting guys that are, you would say, not the sure bet. So for my money, I do feel like Orlando would do it. But I'm kind of with you guys. I think Chet would be a better fit with OKC. Now, I am interested, though, with Jabari because how his game is, and we'll be talking about him in the next podcast, but you guys kind of brought it up. His fit alongside Wendell, they kind of mirror each other. I feel like he's a better version of Wendell. Wendell's a guy who can shoot the three, and he's an offensive type of player. Jabari's got maybe a little bit more wiggle, but like Jabari shot 40% from three. So he can shoot, and he can do a lot of things around the rim. So I don't know unless they were able to deal. Now, if you tell me they're able to finagle some trade or sign a trade or whatever to get DeAndre Ayton, and then you're able to still keep that pick and get Jabari. Now, I like that front court a lot because those are two polar opposite players. And in the NBA, to your point, P. Bush, I feel like you need a big man. Like, I feel like in NBA, you need one solid big man who does what a big man does, and then you need like like your second big man needs to be like more of a small ball type that can, if you want to do like, I guess you would say a death lineup, or like in the playoffs or whatever, you need a big man that can move around, can shoot threes, and can switch on other defenders. You may need that, but just with Orlando's history, I wouldn't be mad with them taking Chet because you got to also remember they still have Suggs, and I think they want to build around Suggs, and they played in high school, so they may have a chemistry coming in that might be real nice. And if you're building, like you said, I don't think Orlando is pinning all their hopes on Cole Anthony and RJ Hampton. I think they want Suggs to be the guy. So if you want Suggs to be the guy, you have a guy like Chet, maybe that can pay off for you in the long run. And I think Wendell could play alongside Chet.
He can play power forward.
He can play power forward for sure.
He can play alongside him. Now, this is just a funny side note with how we talk about how small Chet was, or just like in terms of his build. We may think he's the smallest player in the draft, but there's another guy from Florida State, John Butler, who I think came into the draft at 7'1", 165 pounds. So I think he might actually be the smallest guy in the draft. That was his measurements. So,
oh my Lord.
Holy.
He's got a foot on me.
Yo.
I'm about this. I'm a little heavier than that.
Not
He's
gonna
got a
lie,
foot
he
on
looks
me.
like he's starving a little, man.
Yeah,
He
I
looks
think
like
he's
he's
starving.
starving.
So he
John
might be-
Butler.
yeah,
Oh my
he's
Lord.
7'1", but he's not a center. He's a wing, which kind of tells you all you need.
This
to
guy legit. I mean, he legit looks like a giraffe, man.
know. Yeah, it's nuts. So Chet might have a little bit on him.
Oh my God.
Chet might have a little bit more weight on him. So if he gets matched up with John Butler, he might be able to win that matchup.
All
But
right,
that
well,
probably be the
hey.
only one he wins.
Hey, you got to at least be willing to take one.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But yeah, we're gonna keep getting into the different comps and teams that will see where these draftees go. We don't really necessarily know the order, and like I said, we're only going to do 5, so we can talk. We'll be talking pre-production and seeing like which teams or which players we want to discuss. But I kind of just want to get the draft going because that is coming up soon, and the playoffs have just not been exciting. Maybe when the finals come, we'll have more of a detailed analysis of what's going on. But until then, we need the conference finals to pick it up. So make sure you guys
no more
tune in.
19-point differentials. No more
For
19-point
real, man.
differentials, man.
For real.
Can't do it.
And let's hope that Luka at least gets one game so he doesn't have this sweep on his conference finals, but it does not look good. So we're going to hope that maybe this game tonight is interesting, and then, tomorrow it'll be able to follow suit. I hope that is the outcome. So
hey, LeBron got swept in his first finals, man. It happens.
Yeah, and that's my fault. I was wanting so bad for Luka to have that LeBron type run, and that's just putting too much on him. I shouldn't have did that. That was definitely
more
my
of a
fault.
Dirk run. That's what I was hoping for. He's just not savvy enough yet.
That's tough. That's
tough. Luka's there, man. It's just his teammate are garbage, man.
Yeah,
they garbage.
Dude. He needs to find it. Like you say, Mark Cuban, figure out some trades, man. Something.
Dude, he needs like better role players, man. They're all super one-dimensional. I'm just like, and their defense, I don't know what happened.
Went away.
Defense, went away, man. You went from being a lockdown defensive team, which pretty much helped them survive against the Phoenix Suns, to non-existent. So I don't know what happened. Or Golden State just figure them out.
It's the damn Warriors.
It almost makes you feel like, too, with the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks game 7, it makes you feel like, how they say if you play a game 10 times, I feel like they played that game 10 times, Phoenix might beat them 8.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, they were the better team. That's why I kept calling it a miracle, man, because I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe it.
Yes, that was a tough one for Phoenix. So, like you say, if Mark Cuban can finagle a trade or something that could upgrade the roster, man. Yeah, he's got it, because you want, like you say, you want to keep Luka happy. And this year, he has no reason to hang his head. He's done all he can. But as the seasons go on and these years keep, attaching to his contract, we need to see what Dallas could do, because history will tell you Dallas doesn't get a lot of free agents. So they're gonna have to figure out some trades, and they got a centerpiece. They just gotta figure out the pieces around them. Yeah. So, like you said, we're gonna keep talking about the NBA. Hopefully the playoffs get a little bit better. We will be doing, like I said, draft coverage. Make sure you guys tune in to bullheaded_pod for a lot of great content. Make sure you guys also subscribe to our YouTube page, Quantrell Knows. Also, all of our streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we're out.